People continue to ask if they can learn data analysis on their phone, and the answer to that, in this video, I want to talk about 8 terrible excuses holding you back from becoming a data analyst. Starting with not having a computer. Now, not everyone has access to a computer, and that shouldn't disqualify you from wanting to become a data analyst. So if the only device that you have is the one in your hands, aka a phone, then depending on what type of phone it is, you might be able to get started with it. If it's a Samsung like an S9 or S10 and above, then Samsung has something called Samsung Desk, which is essentially a way to convert your phone to a desktop. Now with that, you can simply connect your phone to the external monitor using USB-C to HDMI and browse as if it were a computer, meaning you are able to open data analysis applications like Microsoft Excel. You are also able to take mobile-friendly courses on Udemy or Coursera. And finally, you can access ebooks, textbooks, PDFs that can be useful for your learning. Excuse number 2, you're embarrassed because you've never used Excel before. No one was born with the talent to use Microsoft Excel. Everyone started using Microsoft Excel at some point in their career, and you, my friend, have nothing to feel embarrassed about. As a matter of fact, if not all entry-level roles require candidates to be comfortable using Excel, so there's an expectation that as you are graduating from the university, you know how to work with Excel and you are comfortable using it. I recall seeing a tweet somewhere earlier this week that said Microsoft Excel should be a standalone course in the university, which is absolutely true. You cannot go far in the industry if you don't know how to use basic Excel. So if you've never used it before because you don't have a computer, hopefully you are able to use your phone to get started. Otherwise, if you already have a computer, and then all you need to do is to subscribe to Microsoft Excel right away, or go to excelonline.com and try it out for free. Excuse number 3, you are only able to use Excel as a calculator. Okay, so you already have Excel on your computer, so that's good. You've opened it a few times, but you've probably closed it right away. You've had no reason to use it other than using it as a calculator. Well, let me say I'm grateful that you're able to do that, but I'm sorry, it's not enough. You need to get to the point where you are able to navigate around efficiently. You are able to highlight cells, drag down cells, create an array, create a table, use cell references, write a formula, copy data from outside Excel into Excel, apply paste special, create a pivot table, and know exactly when to use any of these features that I mentioned. Look, I have recommended a bunch of courses that will teach you everything that I just mentioned from a beginner's perspective, as if you were in a real life situation in a company as an intern, learning and understudying a senior analyst. And also there are so many free Excel resources on the internet, and if you do not know where to start, again, watch this video. I'll put the link in the description, and use these courses to learn the foundational skills of becoming a data analyst and watch yourself gradually become an expert. Excuse number 4, I don't like maths and statistics. Now, a lot of you have let your hatred for maths disqualify you from learning data analysis. First, I don't mind if you don't like solving maths problems. Calculus, differential equations are really tough concepts to grasp, but the level of maths needed as a data analyst is far lower to the degree you are probably thinking. So you only need to understand a few basic maths, statistical concepts, which you probably learned in college, except you hated it back in college, so you probably hate it now. So in that case, wrong career. But if your hatred for math has softened a little and you're ready to take up a new challenge, then here are a few links to free resources that can help you refresh your college level maths and get those maths juices flowing again. Obviously, these are just the basics. I can tell you, you'll need more than these 3 resources. For example, here is a statistic textbook that I'm reading just to brush up on some concepts. So treat maths and statistics as something you can never run away from. Excuse number 5. You think SQL is hard. Well, I feel like people that think SQL is hard have a phobia for deep thinking. If you cannot think logically, analytically, and structurally, then there's no way you will find SQL easy. And that's why it's called structured query language. SQL is all about data transformation, and transformation of any kind happens in steps and phases. The first step, second step, third step, and so on. So as a data analyst, you use SQL queries to create data views using specific instructions. So you're basically telling the computer, go fetch some data living in a database and show you in a view that you want to see. When you think about it that way, SQL becomes easy. And so those instructions become statements, and those statements are the bedrock of SQL. So a select statement is basically saying, go select an item in a column. A from statement is telling the computer where to find that column. The where statement is setting a condition so that the computer does not select everything in the column. The group by statement is telling the computer to group similar items in the column. The limit statement is telling the computer to limit the results that it shows. And finally, the case statement is telling the computer to create a new column by defining a condition on a particular column. And honestly, once you master all these statements, congratulations, you have learned, I would say 50% of SQL. The other 50% comes when you start attempting practice questions that involves you creating temporary objects within your query. And that takes you into the realm of using joins, unions, Windows functions, ranking, CTEs, variable definitions, and so on. So if all of this sound dreadful to you, then I'm not sure you're ready. But if it sounds like music to your ears, even though you don't know what I'm talking about, then congratulations, you are ready to become a data analyst. Excuse number 6, you dread applying for jobs. Really? Look around. Do you think anyone likes it? The single biggest challenge any data analyst would face, in fact, any young adult would face, is applying for jobs. It's not learning the SQL, it's not learning the Excel, it's not learning the Python. It is the many weeks of applying for jobs and not getting any responses, the endless tuning of resumes, the many rejections that will test your mental health. But if you keep applying the right strategy, staying the course, and keep going, then there's light at the end of the tunnel. And one of the strategies is designing a rejection-proof resume, where you lead by showing off what you have done in the past with capstone projects, tools that you know how to use, courses and certificates that you have taken, companies that you have worked for, and tying all that together into your work experience and into your educational experience. Very simple structure, very straight to the point type of resume. If you are a beginner, all of this might sound confusing to you, so use my resume template to build your resume. I'll leave it in the description below. Excuse number 7, you don't have a mentor. Now, this is a controversial take, but here's the thing. Mentorship is great. Having a mentor is awesome, but not everyone would have that opportunity. As a matter of fact, most people won't have that opportunity, and they need to get on with their journey. Beginners often waste too much time looking for a mentor. They hinge all of their dreams and aspirations on finding that mentor, and once they don't find that one mentor or get a mentor to accept them as a mentee, then they give up on the dream. And you cannot do that to yourself. Your dreams are too important to hinge on one person. You have to find ways to motivate yourself, and oftentimes reminding yourself why you started in the first place, and that even if you don't have a mentor, you're going to keep going. And that is what will push you. That is a fire that will push you through. Without that fire, you will fail. And I have had a few mentees over the years. And the first thing I ask them is, why do you want to be a data analyst? And they're like, oh, I want to learn how to analyze data. I want to learn how to use Excel and Power BI. But why? Are you trying to learn just for the sake of knowing how to use these tools? Or are you trying to learn because you are a problem solver and you want to use data analysis as a means to solve problems? So having that shift in mentality is critical to succeeding. Folks, mindset is everything. Forget about the concept, the tools, the Python, the Excel. In this game, mindset is what will set you apart from everyone else. Excuse number 8, you don't have a data analytics degree. Well, this is 2024, and if you think you need an MSc in data analytics or a PhD in analytics to get a data analyst job, then I don't know what to say to you. If your sole purpose of getting a PhD or an MSc is to break into the industry, then I would say think twice. Especially PhD. MSc is still fine. I mean, you can take an MSc in anything and not necessarily analytics. I have an MSc in pipeline engineering and I work in analytics. A data analytics second degree is not necessary. It's super expensive from a time perspective and also from a cost perspective. And data analyst jobs are not that highly paid anymore. So instead, use the many free resources that you can find on the internet, and of course layer in a few paid courses to supplement the free ones, and then watch yourself become an expert. All right, I hope you learned something in this video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Also turn on notifications so that you keep getting all my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.